Alright guys, Q here, Saturday morning at the remote Saturday morning garage. And today's video, how to detail your engine compartment without pulling out the engine. The quick and easy way. Well, nothing's ever so easy. But anyway, got some of the products that I used here. And have the Eastwood Extreme Chassis Black, the SEM Rust Shield, the Eastwood High Temperature Engine Paint, foam roller, foam brush, tack cloth, and you're going to need some simple green purple. And the first thing we did here was to clean this whole engine bay before we took anything apart, engine included, with the simple green purple, scrub brushes, hose. We had the car outside, we put it up in the air actually on some jack stands, went underneath. We just scrubbed the heck out of this thing, and that's what you want to do. Once you have that done, then you want to go ahead, come in, disassemble as much as you can off the car. And so we did that. Then I had Joey Blowfish come in once we did all that. And the block, we went ahead, we wire wheeled the block with a fine wire wheel on a drill. Did the same thing with the intake. Now the metal in here was pretty good, my cowl, my radiator support, and so all we did with that was just scuff it up. Some of the rough spots we just scuffed with 180 dry. Then we went ahead and did everything with 320 dry, and then I just came back in with a red scuff pad and then a gray scuff pad, scratch everything up. So once we had everything all prepped, we then went ahead and did this block, and it's a little tedious, but this was all done with a foam roll, with the foam brush. Sorry about that. This right there, foam brush, the whole thing. They make small ones, and you can also use what's called a little acid brush. And we did like 3 coats on this. And once we had that done, then we just masked it off with some plastic. And I went ahead and I sprayed the manifold. And for that we used a paint that I have inside that I'll show you. It's called Cast Blast. So we did the engine first. You know, don't worry if you get a little paint on a couple of things, because you can always just wipe it right off. You know, if you drip a little, whatever, on your chassis, no big deal. But you want to get the block done first. So then we came back in after the block was done. We masked up the car. We bagged the car with plastic on the whole car. And the Eastwood Extreme Chassis Black is pretty nice. I did it in a satin finish. And you can see how nice it came out.
Bright and early with black, as that band completely ripped it up last week. It's going on almost a week now since they
looks really good.
To everyone in the Uproar Festival, the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival was in town last week.
And that pretty much covers doing in here. Now there was a bunch of parts that I went ahead and sprayed also, all the brackets and so forth, and I'll show you how those came out and what I did with that. But that's pretty much it here. I mean, this paint works really well. One word of caution: you gotta, if you're gonna put 2 coats on, you gotta let it sit a minimum of 2 hours at 70 degrees. And honestly, I would go ahead, put 1 coat on, wait about 10 minutes, put your second coat on, and leave it alone. Don't touch it. So we had a little issue. We had put the first coat on, it looked fantastic, and then I came back an hour later and put the second coat on, and it wrinkled. And so we had to sand everything back down again, and I spoke to Eastwood, and that's what they had told me. It's got to sit at least 2 hours before you recoat it. And but it doesn't say that on the can, so to be safe, I'd put the 1 coat on, wait about 10 minutes, come back in, do your other coat, finish. Alright, I'll take you in and show you all the brackets and everything. Okay, so here's all the parts now that I did, that I prepped up. Prepped them the same way as I told you the engine compartment. Just simple green, whatever was dirty. You know, I'm still need to do this part, but you can see how nice and clean We just wire wheeled the stuff. These are the products that I use to do this. Just use the Krylon satin and the Seymour cast blast. So all these brackets here were done with the Krylon satin, and what I did differently on this is use the Sherwin-Williams spray self-etch primer on these parts before I did the Krylon. And I just, again, hit them with some 320, and look at them. They're mint. So that pretty much wraps up the procedure to do your engine compartment without pulling out the engine. Alright guys, have a good one, and we're just about done here.